How's it going? So, they just showed off Lionheart, Cermia, and Peira, right? Two new units, and I want to take a look at both of them and kind of talk about how good they might be and if they have some potential. So, Lionheart Cermia is a light warrior. I think she's is she Libra, or let me take a look. Which one was she? Right here. Let me turn that off. She's a Pisces, so I don't know who else is this. I'm not sure if there is another Warrior Pisces Light unit, but there probably is. There might not be, however. But she has some pretty original stats. So really bad attack, so you can tell she's not really scaling off of attack for it. But you know she's scaling off damage due to crit chance imprint, right? But it's very strange she had effect resist. So first I thought she might be scaling off of effect resist for damage, but she's actually a defense scaling bruiser, it seems. She has a pretty good amount of speed as well. Her base stats seem pretty alright for what she's supposed to do. Pretty tanky and stuff. The effect resist is very odd, but the crit chance imprint is pretty amazing, right? So I'm probably going to pull an extra copy. So first of all, we got her S2. So when I saw this, I immediately thought of Designer Lilibet. And Designer Lilibet is trash. She's a terrible unit, and I thought, oh god, they're power creeping her. But it turns out this is a little bit different. She starts with 40 Fighting Spirit, and after anyone on your team gets counterattacked, dual attacked, or any extra attack, so any secondary thing, like, I don't know, Belion's S1 going into the secondary hit, it activates Shine, right? And every 2 turns it can do that, which gives her defense and effect resist, and I believe it cleanses her, right? Yeah, it dispels all debuffs and then gives her defense and effect resist, which is kind of weird. So it seems like the type of thing that she starts with 30% F-res, and then she gets 50 more from the buff here. So she has 80 base, basically. So I guess a unit will debuff your team, someone with high effectiveness, and then this 80 F-res is supposed to kind of protect you from the rest of stuff, so that you're not actually getting hit by a lot of things. But the defense buff is big because, as we see with her S3, which, by the way, has a amazing animation, she's a defense scaling unit. And this is actually kind of a huge deal. So she starts with 40 Fighting Spirit, and she gets 50 from her S3. So she's already able to use this immediately. It hits the whole team. Okay, it gives an extra turn, first of all. And then it hits the whole team, penetrating their defense by 50%. That's a kind of a huge deal. We don't know the multiplier on this, but I would assume that this does a fair bit of damage. They definitely want to make her some sort of AoE nuke unit. And it's proportional to defense. She gives defense buff to herself, so she's completely self-sufficient in that. She's a very self-sufficient unit that isn't really affecting the team that much. She doesn't need the support of the team a ton, and she's not really affecting the team a ton either. She's kind of just her own thing, and she sounds decently strong so far. The fact she gets an extra turn is a big deal, because her S2 is a 2-turn cooldown, so immediately after she uses S3 into S1, she already can proc her S2 again to cleanse and get defense buff and effect resist buff again, which is pretty strong. And it also means that she gets to use this ability as an AoE into their team, and then she's immediately able to S1, which is also defense scaling, so it might be able to just take a unit out immediately. So it sounds really strong, and as a soul burn of 10 souls to do increased damage, we don't know how much that is, but that could actually be pretty significant. So she'll have, 30 Fighting Spirit, I believe, after all that. We don't know the numbers on her, but just judging by her skill set, it sounds very strong. Now the thing is, she's coming after Remnant Violet, and Remnant Violet has a million counters, but he's still a good unit, so it becomes kind of hard to decide if you want to pull him or her. Remnant Violet is tried and tested to be a very good unit. He needs good gear, but he's just insanely strong. So I do think that he's a great unit, but until we see the numbers for her, we just can't really compare it, right? If her numbers are bad, she's not really going to be that significant, even if she's doing a big AoE. If she defense pens their team by 50%, but it doesn't hit that hard, it doesn't really matter. So it's kind of hard to tell how good of a unit she will be, because she doesn't really apply debuffs or things like that. She's just doing damage by herself. But my first impression is actually very favorable of this unit. I really like how she works. She doesn't seem completely broken or anything like a lot of these units, or the next unit we're about to cover. She seems very self-contained and kind of fun to use, honestly. I really like this. Also, her design is top tier. I really like this. And she also gives her increased speed on the S1, which is nice, so she gets her turns faster. So she just seems like a very self-sufficient, fun bruiser, pretty much. I actually really like this. Yeah, I'm actually a real big fan of her. I'm probably going to be pulling her. I'm going to get an imprint as well. You know what, I'll show the S3 just because it's so good looking. And we get the butt shot. Pretty cool one, honestly. Lionheart Cermia. Amazing design. So good. So I'm pretty excited for that. And then we go to our second unit. So the first unit, I think, is incredibly well designed, and not only character design, but just the skill set and stuff seems very cool. But we have to look at the numbers to find out if they're good. This character, we don't have to look at the numbers to see if this character is going to be good. This character is very different. Peira here, oh man. Smilegate just doesn't know when to quit. They literally just do not know when to stop. I immediately was like, okay, what's her stats like? Oh, as soon as I saw 128 speed, I already knew where this was going. So let's see, what are some of the crazy characters recently? Ran 129 speed, completely just breaks the game basically, changed the whole meta, makes it so cleave is insane, right? Great. Mo Lilius, 121 speed, really fast character, completely breaks the game, changes the meta, all that. Oh great, 128 speed. So immediately I was like, oh god. But then I saw effectiveness and stuff, and it's like, okay, well, so this character's a little bit different, right? It's not just damage. So this is her S2. Attacks all enemies, decreases their buff duration by turn, so you get rid of their immunity and stuff, or stealth, restricts them, and gives them unable to be buffed for 2 turns. So she's kind of like an anti-cleave unit, right? Because if she S2s a team, they can't get any buffs, and in cleave, it's pretty important to be able to get attack buff and other stuff like that. It's also really important to get CR push from characters like Summertime Asaria and other units like that. So this makes it so Angel of Light, Summertime Asaria, Rimuru, those characters don't get pushed. However, she is blue against Rimuru, so that's a bit of an issue, right? And unable to be buffed, that's kind of a big deal. No attack buffs, Flan can't give her attack and crit damage buff, all that kind of stuff. And then it gives you an extra turn. I don't know why it gives you an extra turn. Cerise's entire S3 is to strip and restrict. This strips, restricts, and puts unable to be buffed. Why? Why would they do that? I don't understand. By the way, not limited character either. Cerisa, a limited character that was buffed. And this is kind of just better. And then her S3. Wow. Gives attack to the entire team, and then gives stealth, escort, and barrier to the caster for 3 turns, right? And escort's this new cool thing that's basically just called Super Aureus. Wow. The target takes 30% of the damage suffered by all allies. When more than 1 damage distribution effect is granted, only the strongest effect is applied. So she's just a walking better Aureus, and since she's a thief that has, and thieves all have low defense, high health, it means you can build really high health on her and just have her be a stealthed Aureus for your team. And you see, here's the thing. This character, like, so they can't target her or get rid of her. She just has the escort thing, and she's stealth barrier. And then she's also able to spam her S1, which is incredibly annoying, by the way. And when she has barrier, it increases her chance by 25%. So 55% chance to stun a unit. And if you soul burn, it's 100. Like, that's not fun. That's really unfun that she's going to be an absurdly fast, stealthed character with a barrier that can stun you every single turn. Nobody wants to fight that in the whole game. Cerise's S2 is a stun. So they basically just looked at Cerise's skill set. They were like, oh man, we need to make another character. What if we just made Cerise, but better? And they're like, okay, we did it. You can't outspeed this unit. It's 128 speed. It's the same as Ran. Like, you're not outspeeding these units, right? So you just have to win against them anyways. You have to just be able to deal with them. Kind of frustrating, to be honest. I don't really like what they did here. I think she's going to be used in cleave, honestly. You know why? Because this gives attack buff to the whole team. And an Aureus. You can use this in cleave and she'll be good. A lot of cleavers just pick stuff like Apocalypse Ravi and Violet and crap like that anyways. So if they pick that and then they have a unit that's stealthed with 30% damage reduction on a character like A Ravi, how are you killing that thing and then it's spam stunning you? I don't really understand what they're doing. Seems kind of like a huge mistake. I think this character seems ridiculous. I don't have enough speed gear. Damn, like how many fast characters am I supposed to build? I guess I have to pull this unit and build it, right? It's kind of absurd. So now every game is going to be like, okay, what do people want to first pick? Emo Lilius, Emo Kaweric, Apocalypse Ravi, I don't know, Emo, I guess Peira and stuff like that. We can add that maybe. I don't know if she's going to be insanely strong in every single team comp in the game. But the fact that she has an Aureus built in, like if you're going against Cleave, you could pick an Aureus holder and then you can also pick her, and no matter what, you have an Aureus, right? So, I don't know. It just seems like she's kind of good in a million different places. I'm not sure how I feel about this. I don't really like that they made it. I think that Emil Cermia is a very well-designed unit, but this unit I'm not so sure. But now if we're talking, should you pull this character compared to somebody like, let's say, Cerise, right? Cerise is really, really good in PvE. She's a top-tier unit in a couple of the expeditions, which, you know, I highly recommend that you pull her for those. And she's also really good in some challenge stages that appear, or stuff like Abyss, certain stages as well. She's a really, really good PvE unit. And she's not, like, bad because this unit exists. She's still, like, a decent unit to have. So I think it's worthwhile pulling for Cerise, and her artifact on her banner is an artifact everyone should have, right? Cerise is a limited unit with a limited artifact, so if you skip her, you might feel really bad in the future. I feel like you 100% should get Cerise, but especially if you're a newer player, you should get Cerise, because Peira is not going to do a lot for a newer player comparatively. But when you're, like, more endgame, like, I would say everyone should pull Peira if they can. I think everyone should get Cerise, and hopefully a Guiding Light from either her banner. If you don't get it from there, then I guess get it from the powder shop for 240 powder. Everyone should get at least one of them. But if you already have that stuff, or you can get both, everyone should try and get Peira if they can. If you're trying to be competitive in RTA, and, I don't know, hell, Arena probably even, all over the place in PvP, it seems very worthwhile getting her. As for her artifact, I haven't really thought of who would want to use this exactly yet. So, Peira probably can use all sorts of different artifacts. You could use RNL, because she automatically gets 2 turns, and she's a fast unit, and RNL on her is pretty disgusting, because you can stun people every single time. You could use Rand's artifact on her, actually, which steals souls from the opponent at the beginning, which is pretty strong. This artifact, I don't really know who exactly wants to use this. When most thieves I think of are damage dealers, and a lot of them don't really have non-attack skills. And most characters that use non-attack skills, they use their non-attack skill before their other skill. Like a character like Ran, he uses that before his S3. So I don't know how important it is, really. So I'm not entirely sure. It can only be activated 3 times per battle, which is an interesting thing, but that also means that it has no cooldown between it. So if you're constantly using non-attack skills, that means you can get a skill better to get like a huge edge in a fight. So I think it's interesting, but I'm not sure how much it's going to be used. It might be really good on her because, let's see, what's the cooldown? This is a 4-turn cooldown. So I think when she uses it, it procs, which reduces the duration. So it becomes a 3-turn cooldown, and, you know, she moves really fast, so it comes up really quickly, right? And then, oh wait, where's the other skill? This is a 6-turn, okay, a 5-turn cooldown. It feels like the cooldowns are so long on her. She's kind of a one-and-done character that wants to just spam S1s after. So I'm not 100% sure if she really wants to use this compared to other artifacts, but it feels like how you're going to build her is very high health and then high effectiveness on speed, pretty much, because she has the 30% Aureus. So, all in all, she seems like kind of an insane unit, and I don't know if this artifact is really that big of a deal. We'll have to see. But I think that this unit is stupid. I think they're kind of a mistake. I'm going to pull them. Everyone's going to pull them. If you don't pull them and you're trying to be high up in RTA, I don't know. You should pull her. She's going to be strong, right? As for Cermia, though, I'm not convinced if people should actually skip Remnant Violet for her. But if we can get the damage numbers maybe data mined, maybe a little bit ahead, and people can start, you know, testing her out a little bit, then maybe she's actually gonna be really, really good. So I'm definitely gonna pull her day one, and I'm gonna get an imprint, because the first imprint's always worth extra. And I guess we'll see how this works. So anyways, that's kind of what I think about these characters to start, and thanks so much for watching.